All right, let's go ahead and kick things off as folks continue to trickle in here. Um, Thanks everyone for making time to join us today. I know for some of us it's quite early, Bradley in particular, and for others it's a bit late in the evening, so we appreciate you being here. Really glad to have you here for this session on living and working in Taiwan with Talent Taiwan. My name is Hal Matthews, and I am a global career advisor at Duke University's Career Center. And I know we have students joining us on this call from all over the world, from Duke, but also UPenn, Cornell, Dartmouth, Columbia, and other schools. So welcome to you all. I've really been looking forward to this session, and I know that many of you have too. And whether you're just getting started thinking about exploring international opportunities, or you already have a strong interest in moving to Taiwan, I hope that today's conversation is going to give you some useful insights. Before we get started, just a few quick logistics. Today's session is being recorded and will be posted on Talent Taiwan's YouTube channel. So you'll be able to revisit all of this information later on if you'd like. And the presentation today will last for about 30 minutes, maybe slightly longer depending, but we'll have plenty of time after that to answer your questions. So feel free to drop questions in the chat at any point during the presentation. I'll be keeping an eye on that, and then we can address questions afterwards in the order that they come in. So I'd like to introduce today's speaker, Bradley Orr. Bradley is a partnerships coordinator with Talent Taiwan, and he's going to give an overview of how Talent Taiwan supports international talent, from career guidance and consultations to navigating life and work in Taiwan. And he's also going to walk us through the main visa options available to foreign professionals and recent graduates, so you can get an idea of what options might be applicable to you. So with that, I'll go ahead and turn it over to Bradley.
Thank you so much, Hal. Let me share my presentation here and we can go ahead and get started. Okay, once again, thank you all so much for coming. Hello from a very early morning here in Taipei. My name is Bradley Orr, and I am a partnerships coordinator at the Talent Taiwan office. Today, I'm going to share with you all a lot of useful information about living in Taiwan, working here, and some of the main pathways and services we can help you with. But before I do all of that, I know we have a very global audience here today. From all around the world, the US, Vietnam, India, many different countries. So I'm actually going to start off with a quick little introduction of Taiwan itself. So first off, let me sell you all on Taiwan. Taiwan is a great place. It's got a lot of different, if you enjoy the city, we've got Taipei here, for example, with Taipei 101. I'm sure many of you have seen the recent Netflix special with Alex Honnold climbing Taipei 101, which was once the tallest building in the world. So if you visit Taiwan, you'll get a chance to see Taipei 101, hopefully many chances. We also have a lot of different nature trails, great hiking, great beaches, and the nature across the island is absolutely phenomenal. We also have great nightlife here, like in our night markets. You can see a picture of Rauhe Night Market here in Taipei, one of the biggest in the country. But we have night markets across the island in many different cities. We also have late night festivities as well. So it's a really fun place. And we also have Taiwanese food, of course, is very well known across the world. We hope you all will enjoy it. And we also have lots of different cultural festivities like the Lantern Festival you can see here as well. But aside from that, Taiwan is also well known for some unique inventions and other little fun facts. So first off, Taiwan was actually the first ever country to introduce the numeric countdown timer and animated avatar on crosswalks. The first ever little animated avatar was introduced actually the street below Taipei 101. Next, of course, 75% of electric auto part suppliers are also Taiwanese companies. And Taiwan also invented the N95 mask, widely used, of course, during COVID. USB flash drives was also invented by Taiwan. Instant noodles, the first ever cat cafe, and of course, everyone's favorite bubble tea is, of course, from Taiwan. Okay, next, let me talk a little bit about Taiwan's ICT industry, information communications technology. So Taiwan produces roughly 68% of all of the world's chips and actually 90% of the most advanced semiconductors. This is something that you widely hear in the news, and this is also reflected in the local economy. You can see here that there's lots of global companies that have established significant presences across the island. This map is actually from a few years ago already, so this many of these locations have expanded, and many more companies have also set up shop here in Taiwan. Uh, and these companies are also, because of the labor shortage here in Taiwan, looking for talent, and not just talent in manufacturing or semiconductors, engineering, but actually talent in lots of different departments and industries like their HR departments, marketing, sales. So there are actually a lot of opportunities all around the island. So if you get online and explore, hopefully you'll be able to find your kind of dream job, dream position here in Taiwan. And aside from those global enterprises, I've also listed a few of Taiwan's domestic top enterprises. I'm sure some of these are going to be familiar brands to all of you, like TSMC, ASUS, Acer, but there's also other companies like Giant, they make bicycles. Um, Delta makes lots of electronics. Foxconn, of course, making iPhones and many other products, and etc. You can see that we have a really competitive and bustling local economy as well. Next, Taiwan is also a great location for global professionals. You can see here that it's a great travel hub. You can get to Northeast Asia, like South Korea or Japan, within a quick 3-hour flight. Within 3 hours as well, you can get down to many locations in Southeast Asia, like Singapore, Malaysia. You can take a quick flight to Hong Kong, only in an hour and a half. Many different locations. And you can also see that there's lots of direct flights to several locations across the North America, in Australia, all the way to Europe and beyond as well. So Taiwan is a growing travel hub and a really convenient location if you enjoy travel or if you're a global professional in your career. Next, Taiwan is a super convenient place to live. Let me cover travel first. So here we have a really convenient public transport system. We have buses in every city, in every major city. We also have MRTs, which are our metro systems. They're always on time and very clean. We also have high-speed rail to get you around the island very fast and very cheaply. We've got Uber and taxis available everywhere. And we also have public bicycle systems called U-Bike in many different cities, including Taipei and New Taipei City. So this is a really convenient way to get around the city, and it's actually free under 20 minutes per trip. Next is shopping. Here you get friendly, real service. Taiwanese are world-renowned for being extremely friendly and really open to foreigners as well. For the Americans that are joining us today, there is actually no additional tax and no guilt tipping as well. So it's super simple. You can just go to a store and you'll pay the price that's on the label. In many large stores, self-checkout is also optional. There's usually no security locks on the store, and there's also food deliveries available through Uber Eats, Food Panda, and other platforms within 20 to 30 minutes in basically every urban center. Next are our convenience stores. This is something that's a little bit unique to Taiwan. Is actually our convenience stores, a little similar to Japan's, but honestly, in my opinion, even better than Japan's convenience stores. You can do basically anything at a convenience store here. You can pay your taxes and bills. You can pick up packages. You can check your blood pressure at the blood pressure machine. Something I found personally super useful is being able to print and photocopy and scan at any convenience store. That's been a super useful to me. I use that on a daily, not daily, but very regular basis. You can also buy rail and plane tickets, purchase internet access, and something a little bit more unique to Taiwan is actually our lottery system. So if you make a purchase in any convenience store or any major store, you can actually use that receipt as a lottery every 2 months and hopefully win back some of the money you spent as well. I think last month I also won about $30 USD, so it was pretty fun. Next, Taiwan is also a very safe place to live. You can walk around at night at 2 a.m., midnight, and feel completely safe. It's super common for people here to pop outside and grab some snacks late at night or grab some food. Usually there's always a breakfast shop open as well if you want to get some food. So it's a great country to explore at night, and you don't have to worry about your surroundings or having your bag stolen or anything like that. Actually, Taiwanese are world renowned as well for finding stolen wallets and returning them to stations and finding the owners of phones that are lost and things like that. So it's a super safe place. You don't have to worry about your safety when coming here. Next, Taiwan has also a great public healthcare system. It is very convenient to see a doctor here. You can actually directly make appointments for specialists if you want to directly see a specialist. Or if you just have a common cold or something like that, you can visit any local clinic super cheap. I think the last time I visited a clinic for a cold I had, it cost me less than $5 USD, and I came out with medicine and everything. So it's a really great public healthcare system. Very cheap, very efficient, and very high quality as well. And you can see here it's been ranked #1 globally by Numbeo for 7 years straight. So we're really proud of our healthcare system here in Taiwan. Okay, now that I've introduced Taiwan, let me jump into what we are and what we can do to help you all. So we are, once again, the International Talent Taiwan office. You can just call us Talent Taiwan. And we are a national level service center dedicated to attracting and assisting all different types of foreign talent here in the country. This includes foreign students, foreign workers, gold card holders, which I'll talk about a little bit more later, and other visa types as well. We are, of course, under the National Development Council, which is a ministry in the government here in Taiwan. And we actually had our start in 2020 as just the Taiwan Employment Gold Card Office, where we would only assist gold card holders on that special visa program. But then in 2023, we expanded to assist all different types of foreigners here in Taiwan because the government here recognized that it is such a priority to help foreigners here, and they want to attract more and more foreigners to the country. And as such, we aim to be the top resource for all different types of foreign professionals exploring opportunities here and hopefully considering Taiwan to be their new second home. Okay, so what are the main services we provide? First off, I want to say that all of these services are completely free because we are under the NDC and this is something the government cares about. So please don't worry about ever having to pay for anything. If you have any questions, just reach out to us and you can ask us for help, and it's a completely free service. So first off, we have our dedicated help desk. This is a multilingual help desk for potential visa applicants abroad and also for current foreign talents in Taiwan. So you can give us a phone call, email us, or even set up an in-person appointment if you are already in Taiwan and maybe you're visiting or you already live here. We are mainly in English and Mandarin Chinese, but we also currently have limited support for Cantonese, Japanese, Hindi as well. So we're also working on having more and more support for other languages as well, like Thai and Vietnamese too. So if you are looking to come to Taiwan and you have questions about a specific visa, you can of course email us, but also we've assisted people they're already living in Taiwan and having, for example, issues with banking or getting a phone plan or enrolling their children in school, things like that. Basically, any questions that are related to your status as a foreigner here, we'll be able to help. And if we're not able to directly help, we'll be able to put you in contact immediately with someone who can. Next, we have our one-stop portal. This is our website. I'm going to go through a couple sections of our website in the next part of the presentation. But the reason we made this website was actually because we had a lot of feedback from foreign talent that it was actually quite difficult in many cases to find accurate information on visas to come to Taiwan. So we actually developed this website ourselves in partnership with the government to kind of streamline this process. Basically what would happen is maybe an applicant abroad would look at a government website and find kind of information about a visa program, maybe, a list of required documents, things like that. And then when they visited a different ministry's website about the same program, it would have a different list of documents or a different kind of application procedure. And maybe this was because of translation errors or not updating on time, things like that, but it would cause a lot of confusion amongst applicants. And then they'd end up on local forums or on Reddit, which are useful tools, but oftentimes have inaccurate information. So we actually work to make this website of ours really simple to understand in easy to comprehend Chinese and English, and putting all that information in one place with all the correct hyperlinks. And we regularly update everything when there are updates to the visa procedures. And like recently, there have been a lot of amendments to kind of residency times and stuff like that in Taiwan, and we regularly update that and make sure that everyone abroad has the correct information. And we also have lots of other guides on moving here and living in Taiwan as well. Next, we also do a lot of outreach and engagement. So we promote Talent Taiwan and Taiwan as a whole, both online and offline. Today is a great example of one of our online events, but we also do offline events. First, within Taiwan, we visit many different universities and companies and other organizations to give seminars, and also we do workshops to help local foreigners who are already living here maybe understand tax and other kind of important to understand things about living in Taiwan. And we also do promotion abroad. So we're currently planning several trips to the US this year, but we've also recently visited India. We visited several locations in Europe and also throughout Southeast Asia as well, like Singapore, Malaysia, and other countries like Japan too. So we really do try to promote our services as much as we can and also promote Taiwan as a location as well. Next, this is the kind of on the home page of our website, we have this really useful tool called the Get a Visa tool. Basically, if you are kind of overwhelmed with the full list of visas that we have to come to Taiwan, you can actually use this tool where you choose your passport, then you'll answer a few questions about your background experience and also your purpose for coming to Taiwan, like if you want to study here or if you want to work or set up a company or whatever you want to do. And then it will actually suggest you various suitable visas, and you can click and kind of explore all the different visa options and the relevant documents. And of course, if after using our website and exploring everything, you still don't understand, just give us a call, send us an email, and you'll get an answer. If you call us, you'll get an answer straight away. If you send us an email, you'll get an answer in about a day or two. We also have a job portal on our website, currently only offering high-level jobs through some of our partners. So if you're interested in finding a job here in Taiwan and you already have a few years of experience under your belt, please take a look at our website and you might find the right position for you. And we try to curate these for either jobs that are suitable for foreign talent already, or jobs that are specifically looking for foreigners in Taiwan. So this is a useful page if you are currently on the job hunt. Cool. And finally, here for this section, we also have our Life in Taiwan kind of guides section to our website. In my opinion, this is the most useful part of our website because it includes a lot of different guides that we're regularly updating. Recently, we've added a guide about how to reclaim your Taiwanese nationality if you are an overseas Taiwanese. But also we have lots of other guides on basically any issue you can think of. We've got guides, as you can see here, on how to learn Chinese in Taiwan, all the different Mandarin training centers here, how to enroll your children in preschool. We also have guides on how to network here if you're trying to start your career here. What are some of the best organizations to join and get your foot in the door? We've got a guide on how to bring your cat or dog here if you're looking to move here. Basically anything you can think of, we probably have a guide for it. And if we don't have a guide for it, you can write us an email and suggest us a new topic, and we'll be happy to do our research and put it on the website for everyone. So please do take a look. Okay, next here, I'm going to cover a few of the most common visa pathways to come to Taiwan. Like I mentioned, we have a lot on our website, way too many to discuss in just a short presentation. If you do have some specific questions, I'm really looking forward to answering that in them in the Q&A, but I'm just going to cover these 4 most common pathways first. First off is the employment seeking visa. This will allow you to come to Taiwan and stay here for a maximum of 6 months. And it's mainly intended for applicants to use this to come here and attend various events and also job interviews. And if you are a graduate from one of the top 500 universities, then you can directly apply for this visa. Now, when I say top 500 or top 200 or top 1500, like when I use this terminology, what this refers to is QS ranking, US World and News ranking, or Times Higher Education ranking. These are the 3 ranking systems that Taiwan uses to designate top whatever universities. So when you hear that number, you can think of those 3 ranking systems, and if it falls in that number in any one of those ranking systems, your university will qualify. I believe all of both Duke and all the other Ivy Plus schools are all well within the top 500 universities. Next is the white collar worker visa. So let's say you come to Taiwan with an employment seeking visa, or you apply for a job from abroad and you get an offer and you accept, then you'll change to what's called the white collar worker visa. This will give you an ARC, which once you come to Taiwan, which is an alien residence card, and it's a little ID card, and this will give you residence rights, and also this will be valid as long as you have an employer here in Taiwan. As long as you stay with that employer, or if you want to resign from your job, you'll also have the right to have another employment-seeking ARC and find a new job within usually 6 months, and you can extend that for another 6 months. So if you lose your job, you'll have about a year to find a new job. You won't have to leave the country. Don't worry about that. And while you're working here with the white collar ARC, you will also have access to the National Health Insurance Program, and you'll also have a pathway for permanent residency, also called APRC, typically after 5 years, although it can be shorter depending on individual circumstances, which I'll discuss a little bit later. Next here is the Taiwan Gold Card. I'm also going to discuss this in more detail in the next section of the presentation. But basically, this is a special visa program designed for professionals that already have a few years of experience or a certain salary level, and it has a lot of different benefits as well. And finally here, we have our newest visa program, which is the Digital Nomad Visa. They have a dedicated office, and if you have any questions about that, we can directly put you in contact with them. But this is suitable for professionals employed by overseas companies outside of Taiwan, and it allows foreigners to stay in Taiwan for up to 6 months. But I do really want to highlight that it only permits work for foreign employers. You cannot work for domestic employers. So make sure that you only work for overseas companies with a digital nomad visa. Very similarly, the employment seeking visa that I mentioned at the top, you cannot work while on that visa. That's just designed to look for jobs. So if you want to work in Taiwan and you want to use any of these visas on this page, you should use the white collar worker visa or the Taiwan Gold Card. But there are other pathways as well, don't worry. Next, let me talk about studying in Taiwan super briefly. Of course, if you're considering studying here, you'll be doing your own research on the different programs available at universities across the country. We have lots of different universities in Taipei, but also in other cities like Chiayi and Kaohsiung and many other places. And these universities all have great programs, and you'll do your own research, of course, to which is the best fit for you. But what I want to talk about today is some of the benefits that come along with being a student in Taiwan. First off is if you are a degree student, meaning associates, bachelor's, master's, or PhD student, you will be able to work here. You'll get a work permit through your school you can apply for. You can work up to 20 hours during semesters, and you can also work unlimited hours here over the summer and winter vacations. Now, after you graduate, you'll have access to an employment-seeking ARC that allows you to stay in Taiwan for 2 years. It's 1 year, and you can then extend it for another year. And a recent new amendment also allows graduates from Taiwanese universities to actually work in Taiwan without a work permit for that 2 year period as well. So if you want to work here after graduation, ideally, you should still look for a company to sponsor you so you can start working towards the permanent residency if that's your goal. But if you want to kind of freelance and do some part-time work or work without a work permit, you can do that after graduation now. And there's also other benefits, like I mentioned, if you're going to apply for the APRC, then depending on your degree level, you will also have some deductions for that time. Typically, it takes 5 years to apply for a permanent residency, but if you have an associate's or a bachelor's from a Taiwanese university, that will deduct 1 year. So you'll get the APRC in 4 years. If you have a master's, you can get the APRC in 3 years. And if you have a PhD, you can get it in 2 years. It gets pretty complicated, so if you're interested in learning more about this, I would say just give us a quick phone call and we can give you the answer based on your kind of background. Because also, if you are a gold card holder, you will also have other deductions as well. And I do want to highlight a couple of new amendments too. First off is that graduates from top 200 universities worldwide can apply for their own work permit and freely work in Taiwan. I know this applies to Duke, and I think this applies to almost all of the Ivy Plus schools as well. So if you are a graduate from any of these top 200 universities by any of those three ranking systems, you can actually directly come to Taiwan and freely work without sponsorship for 2 years, as long as you are within 5 years of graduation. So this applies to within 5 years of your graduation date, you get 2 years of freely working in Taiwan. And differently from what I mentioned previously, if you use this new amendment, this time can also be considered towards your APRC if your final goal is trying to permanently reside here in Taiwan. And next, the 2 year experience rule for foreign professional jobs will not apply to graduates from the top 1,500 universities. What this means is actually the white-collar worker visa typically will require, that second one here, that will typically require 2 years of full-time work experience for you to apply for that. The only way to waive that is usually through having a master's degree or a higher degree. But if you are a graduate from any of these top 1,500 universities, you don't have to worry about that. You can directly apply for a white-collar worker visa without having any prior full-time experience. Okay, next I want to talk about the gold card. I've mentioned this at several points throughout the presentation. I've mentioned that this is, of course, how we got our start as an office, and so we're very proud of this program. But basically, it is a special visa program for highly skilled foreign professionals that comes with a lot of different benefits. First and foremost being that you can freely work here in Taiwan without any restrictions. So typically, if you are just a white-collar worker, you can only work for that one company who sponsored you. But with a gold card, you'll be able to freely work part-time, you can freelance, and you can also, of course, have a full-time job here as well, and even start a company as well, all at the same time if you want. It's basically a completely open working permit that gives you working rights similar to a citizen here. This card also allows you to stay in Taiwan for up to 3 years, but you can extend this card as many times as you want. So as long as you still qualify, you can stay in Taiwan permanently with the gold card if you like. And it also includes a lot of other benefits like tax benefits if it's your first time working in Taiwan, and also a fast track to getting the APRC, with the shortest time, with the typical time being 3 years for the APRC. However, you can get the APRC within 1 year, for example, if you have a gold card and a PhD. So there are also other deductions as well. We also have, this is a little bit outdated because we used to have 10 fields for the gold card. However, now we have 12 fields. We have the field of biotechnology and the field of environmental protection that we've recently added. But we also have these other 10 fields like economy, digital, science and tech, etc. The way the gold card works is you basically choose one of these fields, each of which corresponds to a different ministry here. And then under these fields, you'll then choose one of the many regulations. So one application will be made under one field and one regulation. And each field kind of covers different industries that you may have work experience in. So for example, economy covers fields such as marketing, sales, manufacturing, um, and those sorts of industries. Whereas digital includes like game development, AI, software. Science and tech is more R&D based. Architectural designs, architecture, so on and so forth. And we're also really proud of all of our gold card community. The first ever gold card holder was actually Steve Chen, the co-founder of YouTube, but we actually have a lot of other well-known gold card holders from around the world, like Mike Chinoy, the award-winning CNN journalist. We've also got Tim Draper, the co-founder of Draper Associates and Draper University, Vitalik Buterin, co-founder of Ethereum, and so on. We're really proud of the community that continues to grow. And some of the most common ways, of course, to qualify for the gold card before I move on are through, for example, earning a salary of at least 160,000 Taiwanese dollars per month, which per year that will be about 65, 66,000 US dollars, depending on the exchange rate in a specific industry though. Or if you have over 8 years of experience in your industry, you may qualify. If you have certain research that has been well renowned, you could qualify. If you've won certain awards, like in culture and arts, or if you've got a PhD as well, you can qualify straight away. If you have a PhD from one of the top 500 schools, that allows you to apply under the field of education. And there's, of course, over 70 different ways to qualify. Much too many to talk about in this short presentation. So if you are interested, please do take a look at the Gold Card website or just send us an email again and we'll review your documents and typically just review your resume straight away, completely for free, and give you our suggestions. Next, really briefly here, if you want to start a company in Taiwan, either through the Gold Card or through the Entrepreneur Visa, that's also an option. I don't have enough time to talk about it in this presentation once again, but I do just want to highlight that there are lots of subsidy programs available, there are rental space programs available, and a lot of other organizations there to support you on your journey, because this is also another initiative that the government wants to support. Of course, we're here to help. We have our Gold Card website and our Talent Taiwan website. Here are a few pictures of our Taipei office. We also have offices in Kaohsiung and Taichung, two other cities in Taiwan, because we want to help support foreign professionals, not just in Taipei, but around the island. And finally here, please do scan this QR code. This includes all of the relevant links from our presentation, all of our websites, all of our social media, and also some really fun links, like one I really want to highlight before I end the presentation, being the work opportunities newsletter that we have. So if you subscribe to that newsletter, you'll actually get potential job options sent directly to your inbox. So if you're interested in starting your career here, that could be a great place to start as well. So I'll end my presentation here and looking forward to the Q&A. Thank you all so much.
Thank you so much, Bradley. Really appreciated the overview. It was really helpful for my learning as well. If I'm seeing correctly, it looks like maybe the chat has been disabled. So I'm not sure if there's a way to get that opened up so we can have folks submit questions directly. But in the meantime, Bradley, I didn't know if you had any questions from the initial registration, if you wanted to start there.
Sure. Yeah, we have one of our colleagues here taking a look at the chat now, getting that sorted. So I'll just jump straight into some of the questions that we've collected beforehand from the Google form. And then as soon as the chat is online, I'll let everybody know. So let's go ahead and start here from the top. This first question I've received is, as a foreigner, how can I adapt to working culture in Taiwan, which usually requires employees to work overtime every day? And what are some of the most important skills I need to hone to build a long-term career path in Taiwan? So these are a couple of great questions. I'll just tackle the first one, being that I actually think, of course, you may hear that required overtime work is common throughout Asia. Actually, that's getting less and less, especially here in Taiwan. And Taiwan is also really well known for actually having a very good balance of work-life balance. So just from my own anecdotal experience, the foreigners I know here don't typically work overtime that much. They are all very happy with their work-life balance. So I think especially amongst the younger generation, that's not a huge concern, although once again, that is common across Asia, but I think Taiwan is actually making strides in that field. But some of the most important skills you need to hone to build a long-term career path in Taiwan, I think this connects to a lot of the other questions that I have seen from our Google form. And so I do want to start off with just saying, by far the most important skill is Chinese. So if you do work on your Mandarin skills, even getting just up to an intermediate level in Mandarin will open up a lot of doors for you here because in my experience, a lot of companies can be hesitant to hire foreign talent if they have absolutely zero Mandarin skills. And then uh, foreigners will tell me like, oh, that's really, it's really, I don't have the time investment to become fluent in Chinese. Like this seems like a really big obstacle. Well, actually, what a lot of these companies are concerned about is just not being able to maybe communicate with you on a basic level in the office, things like that. So if you get up to just an intermediate level in Chinese, that is already, in my experience, enough for a lot of these companies, especially if they're, for example, maybe looking at targeting the US or European markets, and you don't have to use a whole lot of Mandarin in your actual work, then typically they just want a basic level of Chinese to know that they can have those simple conversations with you. So I would really say if you do become fully fluent in Mandarin, that opens up even more doors. And if you want to set up a long-term career here, that should be priority number one. Next, are there any opportunities for foreigners who currently don't live in Taiwan? Of course, you can, of course, apply directly for jobs here. You can apply from abroad. Of course, it does help if you're here because you'll be able to show up in person for interviews. But there are companies also regularly have video interviews as well, so that won't be an issue. Next here, how much does it cost to get the gold visa or the gold card? So that is a great question, and I'm actually going to go to our website and share a little image with everybody so I can clear this up. Let me go find it, and then I'll share my screen here. So if you're interested in applying for the gold card, we have a lot of different application fees here. So if you are a holder of a US passport, you will pay the highest application fee. This is actually a little bit higher now, specifically for US passports. It's just under 10,000 NTD for a 3-year card, and 10,000 NTD is about 320 US dollars. But if you are applying from within Taiwan, you'll pay these cheaper prices here. So only about 5,700 NTD, about $200 for domestic applicants. And if you have a foreign passport that's not a US passport, then you'll pay only about 5,700 USD if you're applying from abroad, about not NTD, so that's about 200 USD. And the cheapest applicants will be anyone who lives in Taiwan and already works here or studies here. Then you'll pay these very cheap prices here, like about 110 US dollars for a 3-year card. And extensions for any card will be also cheaper. So only about 100 something dollars for a holder of a foreign passport. We're only about 20 to $30 USD for a resident of Hong Kong or Macau. And if you're ever interested in finding that information again, just go to the Gold Card website and you can go to application information right here. Okay. And I think the chat has been, the chat should be working now. So if anyone does have questions to put in the chat, do feel free to jump in and we'll be taking a look, but I'll just go ahead and continue covering some of these previous questions to give people some time. I have a question about language. I have not had any big opportunities to learn Chinese. No worries at all. I'm actually going to share my screen again here. I mentioned this during my presentation, although my presentation was very brief and very fast, so I'm worried that people may have missed it. But if you go to the Life in Taiwan section of our website and go to education, I will share my screen. If you go to the Talent Taiwan main page here, Life in Taiwan, article topics, education, you can actually go down and find essential resources for foreign nationals learning Mandarin Chinese in Taiwan. And if you want to learn here, you can find all of our different resources. We got our Mandarin resource centers. You got a list of different textbooks and things like that, so you can check that out. And I believe we also have another article as well. Yes, so understanding the TOCFL. So this is the Chinese language test that's standard here in Taiwan. So if you're interested in eventually taking the TOCFL to prove that you have Mandarin fluency, you can also learn more about that on our website here. So we have a lot of information about that. Are there any age restrictions? Oh, yes.
We do have a question in the chat from Gaurav. Could you talk a bit more about the banking system and how easy it is to create an account or move money? Also about paying taxes and what are the levels of income tax?
Yeah, the chat on my computer is slow to load here, so I'm not able to see it. So thank you for relaying that. So banking system, we do actually have a banking team here at Talent Taiwan that is constantly working to make the banking system more accessible to foreign talent, and we're working directly with several major banks across the country. In my experience, it's quite easy to set up an account, especially compared to several years ago. All the systems have been updated, although there are still complaints, of course, about kind of the bureaucracy of certain banks, and you may find that it can take a longer amount of time than you're used to, for example, set up an account or do certain things. But this is improving already vastly compared to several years ago. And in my experience with the banks, it's been quite good. So I haven't had any issues with wiring money back home, for example. And especially if you are a student here or if you have a job here and you can provide those documents to prove it, you'll be able to set up an account without any issue. As far as tax is concerned, I can give some basic information about tax on from our website. But what I will say is, if you're interested in learning more about tax, once you do come to Taiwan, we offer free accountancy services through two of our partnering accountancy firms. So you can actually sign up for that either online or come to our office in person and meet with them. And they'll actually take a look at your documents and they will give free 30-minute sessions on filing taxes, or if you are filing taxes, or if you are wanting to set up a company, even they'll help you find those documents and everything as well. Let me get the basic information up here. So what you do mainly need to know, because this is a very big topic, is that once you have stayed in Taiwan for at least 183 days of the year, you will then be considered a Taiwan tax resident. Let me share this screen here. This is some information we have. This is from Just Regal, which is one of our partners, and you'll be able to talk with them if you set up that appointment, like I mentioned. This is directly from their website. But that's the main thing you need to know is once you stay here for at least 183 days of the year, you will be a Taiwan tax resident. And you can see the deductions for your family here, things like that. And the main thing is the progressive tax rate. You can see there at the bottom right. All these prices are in NTD, but if you earn um, typically for workers here, between that 590,000 to 1,330,000, you'll be subject to a 12% tax rate. So that's kind of the standard rate, but that can vary depending on your income level here. And of course, if you're using the gold card to stay in Taiwan and it's your first time working here, you'll also be eligible for certain tax benefits, mainly that any foreign income you have over 3.5 million Taiwanese dollars will be taxed at half the rate. So hopefully that answered some of your questions there. I don't want to go into a whole lot of detail because tax is also not my specialty, and we like to kind of forward that directly to our partnering accountancy firm so they can give you the in-depth information. And is that the only chat message we have right now? For some reason, mine's not loading.
Yeah, that's the only one. I guess we can give it another minute if anyone has additional questions they want to submit.
Sure, I still have a few different, I think about 10 or so other questions here from the Google form. So I'll just keep on going on with that for now. The next question is, are there any age restrictions or race restrictions? And I assume this means for working in Taiwan. Um, of course, there are no race restrictions. For age restrictions, if you're over 16, that won't be an issue. What I will say is some companies I know do have a mandated retirement at the age of 65, but that's not across the board. So once you hit 65, your company may want you to retire. But I do know other foreign professionals in Taiwan that are working over the age of, for example, 70. So that's not a standard thing, but that may be something that certain companies want you to do is retire at the age of 65. Next, are there any jobs for English-speaking lawyers? What I want to highlight is we at Talent Taiwan, we're not like a headhunting agency or anything like that. What we do is promote job opportunities, but we don't directly match people or like help people with like employment consultations, anything like that at the moment. But what I can say is for English-speaking lawyers, uh, if you apply for the gold card under the field of law, that'll be a great option for you to get here and have all the working restrictions lifted. And I do know that there are legal firms across Taiwan that are looking for skilled lawyers, especially in certain fields like international agreements, things like that. But we don't do any specific job matching, but like I said, we do have the field of law and the gold card. And if you do want to apply for the field of law and the gold card, I do want to say too, that will require you to have a law firm kind of confirm your document. There's a specific document you'll need. It is called I'll give you the name now. That is the uh, Foreign Legal Affairs Attorney's Practice Permit. And to apply for that, you will need a local firm to sign off. If you go directly to the Gold Card website, you'll find that hyperlink to the application form, and it'll link you straight to the PDF. And then you'll have to have the partnering law firm write down their name and address and everything from that. So you will have to apply for that. That's one of the only fields of the Gold Card that requires you to have something additional rather than just the overseas like employment experience. Next here, APRC application. I'll cover that in a little bit more depth since I think that is also a common question I get. So if you want to apply for permanent residency, let me go to pull up the website here. I'll pull up the official government website rather than ours. So this is usually the goal for foreign talent living in Taiwan they usually want to apply for the APRC. You can find this link on our websites, both Gold Card and Talent Taiwan. It'll link you directly to the National Immigration Agency's website here. Once again, the Chinese version of these guidelines has been updated, so the English version is not yet available. So there's been some recent, super recent updates to APRC. So maybe check back in another week or two for the most updated guidelines, but you can see here it's a huge list of stuff. Basically, what I want to highlight is that you got the application fee, obviously 10,000 NTD. It takes about 14 days to apply. And typically, if you want to qualify, you can check it all out here, but you'll need to have typically stayed in Taiwan for 5 years, and that's an average of 183 days each year in the country. So what that means is that doesn't mean you have to stay in Taiwan for at least half the year every year, but actually just an average. So that time period you'll be using to apply for the APRC, let's say that you stay in Taiwan for a full 2 years, and then the next year you only stay here for 20 days, and then another full 2 years after that. Well, then that'll average out to be over 183 days each year. So if you fall below that 183 day per year requirement, don't worry, as long as the other years you have make up for that and it averages out. They'll basically say, let's say you're using the typical 5 year route rather than the other deductions. If you have a gold card or a degree from Taiwan, then you will be able, you'll just take that 5 year period. You'll take your total number of days here and divide by 5, and that's your average. And if you ever want to know what is on the official government record for your entry exit dates, you can actually always visit the National Immigration Agency here in Taiwan and directly request your dates from them, and they'll give you an official form that has your government data on, on it. The next, you'll also be required to provide a criminal record certificate from Taiwan, and also from likely from your country as well. So if you're from the US, an FBI background check, that's also valid. And then you'll have to provide proof of financial assets, either through proving that you earn at least twice the minimum wage in Taiwan currently in salary, or that you have over 5 million Taiwanese dollars in either savings or assets. And you'll also need to provide just the basic documents like color photographs, etc. You can find it all here. And if you have any questions, once again, please do just email us. This is one of the most common questions we get. We'll get people to email and say, hey, this is my experience. This is how long I've stayed in Taiwan. What should I do? And then we'll just send you everything you need to do just directly to your email. Okay, we've got another message from the chat here. I can see it on our other screen. How safe is Taiwan for members of the LGBTQ plus community? Is the community more open or hidden? So Taiwan was actually the first country in Asia to legalize same-sex marriage. Taiwan has a great LGBTQ plus community, very open. You won't have to worry about any sort of problems here in Taiwan. And I know Thailand has also legalized same-sex marriage now. I think Taiwan is a very progressive country, especially in the region. So I think you'll have a great time here, and there's a great community here as well. So thank you for that question. Next, going on, I'm looking for career opportunities and more details on Taiwanese universities. So that's great. Once again, please check out our website, and you can also check out some of our guides as well. We don't offer, like I said, we don't offer career matchmaking or university matchmaking directly yet. But if you have any questions on the visa side of things, please do let me know. Could you also talk a bit more about how big is the expat community in Taipei and other big cities? I'm not sure exactly how big. I'm not sure if my colleagues. Right. I'm not exactly sure on how big the size is. I can say for the gold card program, we've issued over 15,000 gold cards as of this year. But some of those gold card holders are also abroad right now. Taipei has a very vibrant scene. We've got expat communities from almost every country in the world. We've got Japanese, we've got Americans, Canadians, all different Europeans, Africans. We've got a huge community. Kaohsiung also has a really big community. And I also mentioned we had our office in Taichung open as well. That's because they have a really big expat community as well. So uh, I'm sorry I can't provide any kind of hard numbers there, but I can say we've got a vibrant expat community, especially in Taipei and in other major cities like Kaohsiung and Taichung as well. Next here, what do you think about ICDF? I believe there is an ICDF scholarship program. Uh, I don't have any knowledge about that, and we don't directly work with them. So if you are interested, do check out the ICDF scholarship program. It looks like they offer lots of funds for exceptional students across the globe. So that is an option if you're looking to study here. Next, job opportunities for fresh graduates. Like I mentioned already in the presentation, if you have a degree from one of the top 200 universities, you can just directly come here without any work permit. So that is a great option for you if you want. Otherwise, you can also check out our guide on networking in Taiwan. That'll be a great place to start. And I also just personally recommend you to check out a lot of the good job boards across that are used across Taiwan. So Taiwan uses platforms like LinkedIn and Glassdoor as well, like the US. But actually, the main platforms in Taiwan are 104, that website, and also Cake, Cake. Also, another platform called Yourator, Yourator, Yourator. Those are all really good platforms for finding a job in Taiwan. There's also other platforms like Taiwan Jobs is a government site. There's also 1111, like 1111. That's another platform as well. So definitely do check those out. Um, Looking for a postdoc position, feel free to, yes. Okay, this is an interesting question. I currently hold a Chinese passport. Would I still be eligible for working in Taiwan? This is a really good question. Unfortunately, if you have a PRC passport from mainland China, you will typically not be eligible to work in Taiwan at all. There are certain exceptions to this rule. For example, if you are the head of a major Chinese enterprise with a branch in Taiwan, then you may be able to come here. There are also certain exceptions for high-level executives to come here for 3 months at a time. But typically, if you are just a regular holder of a Chinese passport, you will not be able to work in Taiwan, unfortunately. And also, I want to highlight if you are looking to apply for the gold card and you have been born in mainland China, but you are a holder of like a US passport or another foreign passport, that may also change some things. You'll probably still be able to apply for the gold card, but if you were born in mainland China, please contact us before applying for anything because that may change the documents that you need to provide. And it could be a bit more complicated. So we don't want you to waste any time. So we want to get that accurate information to you as fast as possible. So definitely reach out to us ASAP if you're interested. Next here is another question. How easy can one get a teaching job in Taiwan? We don't do job matching, but I can say that I do know that there are lots of different English teaching jobs around Taiwan and also teaching jobs for other languages. What I will say is that the only restriction that you should know about for that is that you need to come from a country that has the language you're teaching as a designated like main language. So for example, citizens from the US, Canada, South Africa, India, Australia, New Zealand, these countries, they can teach English in Taiwan because they have English as one of their country's main languages. But if you're from a country like the Netherlands, for example, although you may be super proficient in English, you actually will not be legally allowed to teach any other language in Taiwan except for Dutch, because that's your country's own only designated main language. Whereas, for example, if you're from India, you could teach, for example, English or Hindi in Taiwan, right? Because those are designated main languages of your country. And if you're ever interested in what your country's designated languages are, you can always look at the Bureau of Consular Affairs website here in Taiwan, and they'll have a full list of each country and what the Ministry of Foreign Affairs considers to be those countries' main languages. Okay, I'm going to jump around again. I see there's another chat message. If I have a Taiwanese passport but have lived overseas with a dual citizenship for an extended amount of years, does that have any impact on legal status or employment? Yes, that may have an impact on your legal status and employment. That's a great question, and that's something that I'm going to stop sharing my screen here and go to this other page, because this is a common question that we've been getting. So if we go to Life in Taiwan, all articles, one of our most recent articles here is actually about that. Let me find it. It's one of the more recent ones. Here we go. How to go from national without household registration to full Taiwan citizenship. So if you are living overseas with a Taiwanese passport, it is likely that you are a national without household registration, and you will then have to go through this process to get household registration. And that depends on when you were born. If you were born on or after February 9th, 1980, and at least one of your parents was an ROC national, you may be considered eligible for this. And you'll go through this entire process, get the documents, you need to verify your documents, apply for your passport if that's necessary, and you have to go through and then come over with and get your household registration. So if you already have a passport, there may be some sections of this that you can skip here, but you will still have to come to Taiwan and register your household and obtain a national ID number, and then get your household registration and things like that. This, once again, is another question that is very, very personal and depends on a case-by-case basis. So I would also recommend directly emailing us about this, including all your information if you're comfortable with that, and we'll be able to help you directly, because once again, depending on what you have and what you don't have, it can vastly change your application process. And in some cases, it can be a bit of a lengthy process as well. So I'd say just directly email us with your situation, and we have a couple of colleagues that are really specialized in dealing with similar questions to this. So thank you for that question. But if you want to get an immediate answer before your email and understand the process a bit better, check out this article here. And I believe we have another article in our Life in Taiwan section as well about that. Okay. Yes, thank you so much. Thank you. That was a great question. Sorry I couldn't help any further directly. Next, I got another two questions about learning Chinese. One is it really challenging for freshers to find jobs without knowing Chinese? And also, I have studied Chinese for about 6 months as of now. Is it competitive enough to find a job in Taiwan in the beginning? For the first one, is it difficult to find a job without knowing Chinese? I will say it will be more difficult than if you knew Chinese. However, there are also jobs that, from my own anecdotal experience, visiting various job fairs and cooperating with different companies and organizations here, I have seen several companies hiring foreigners that don't know Chinese at all. For example, I've seen companies that are in like sales and marketing, for example, but they're just looking at promoting their product to they're looking at hiring someone to promote their product to the US or to the EU or other regions, and they don't need Chinese for that. And the boss was already fluent enough in English that they didn't mind. So like that's definitely an option. Although I will say knowing Chinese opens a lot more doors. It's not impossible. And if you do your research, it's definitely possible to find jobs here without knowing any Chinese. And I think that's the key point is doing research. I visited many different job fairs, worked with a lot of universities, and I remember going to having questions be asked to uh, different agencies there that actually do match people with different jobs. For example, I believe Cake was at one of them, and we had a question about uh, a someone who was going to graduate soon was basically saying that there was no jobs in Taiwan for their major, and then straight away, my partner from Cake mentioned that and my partner at the seminar with from Cake mentioned like, oh, actually, straight away I know this company that makes contact lenses here, and they really want to hire people from your major and blah 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 blah. And that wasn't a connection that they would have obviously made straight away. So I think the key point is make sure you do your research on the market here and find those connections because sometimes they're not super obvious. And on the Chinese for 6 months as of now, I think that already opens up a lot more doors than if you knew no Chinese at all. Like I mentioned before, if you have at least intermediate level Chinese, that is already enough for a lot of companies to just feel comfortable that they can bring you into the office and you won't be completely lost. And you'll be able to understand basic tasks and understand how to follow certain things and also make friends and kind of connect to the office. You won't be kind of ostracized. So I think that already helps a lot. What opportunities exist within the sustainability field? Are there any professional network groups in Taiwan around energy or sustainability? I'm sure there are. I don't know off the top of my head if there are any groups around energy or sustainability, but I will say we of course have the new field of the gold card, which is the field of biotechnology and of environmental protection. So you can look into the gold card if you're interested in working in those fields. And once again, this is something that um, is a really big industry in Taiwan. There are lots of wind farms in Taiwan. There's lots of wind farm companies like from Europe and also from Taiwan itself. So I know wind energy is a huge, huge, huge industry, and also industries around wind energy like servicing the cables that connect the turbines and things like that underwater. That's another big industry here. There are solar plants in Taiwan as well. There is also a hydroelectric plant as well. So sustainability is something that Taiwan cares about a lot, and especially if I had to highlight one field within sustainability or in kind of green energy, I would say wind energy is the biggest. How is life in Taiwan? Fantastic. Please come. That was a, yes, life is great here. Uh, I'll talk more about life in Taiwan personally. Like I mentioned, great city life, great mix of urban and nature. My personal favorite thing to do in Taiwan is to get out on my scooter, my motorbike, and drive out to some mountain and go for a short little hike and just enjoy the mountains. You can usually see the coastline from the mountains up on the north coast away from Taipei, and it's really fun, really relaxing. You can come back in the evening. I like to grab some snacks from the night market and walk around the city and get that nice little blend of urban and nature. So if you kind of enjoy mixing things up, I think you'll enjoy the life here. Career opportunities for individuals in mid-career health sector. Health sector uh, can be a little bit more difficult if you're like a doctor or a nurse, or I'm not sure what you work in your position is in healthcare. There are some healthcare startups I know that are doing quite well, and they may have less restrictions around them. But if you are looking to be a doctor or a nurse, you will have to pass the local tests here, and there are certain kind of restrictions and quotas around that. So you may have to look into that. But I'll say if you want to be a doctor or a nurse, it can be a bit more difficult. But if you're kind of doing stuff like healthcare and like other kind of startup companies and research, things like that, you won't have those restrictions. And let's see. Can I do part-time work with company to get experience? And after graduation, I work with the same company long term. So if you are either going to use the top 200 schools to do that, you can use the top 200 schools with the new amendment to work in Taiwan without a work permit, and then you can work part-time with that. Or if you're going to come to Taiwan to study first and then um, work part-time and get experience and then stick with the same company after you graduate. I think that's a great pathway. That's the pathway I personally followed here. I did my master's here in Taiwan and then moved on to a long-term career here. So I think that is a really efficient and good pathway to take. Let's see. How smooth is the process to get a work visa? Is it possible to take a gap year during college to work while learning Chinese in Taiwan? Now, if you come to Chinese with a learning Mandarin Chinese visa to just specifically learn Chinese at a Mandarin training center here, you won't be able to work while working here usually. But if you do come here on a degree program, you will be able to work part-time and learn. So it might be a bit difficult to take a gap year during your college and work at the same time, but you can definitely take a gap year during college and learn Chinese for a year and then go back. But it may be a bit trickier to work if you're not a student at a university domestically. So um, yes, but do definitely take a look at coming here with your and studying at a Mandarin training center. And it may actually be likely that your local university, whichever country you're from, already has partnerships with Mandarin training centers in Taiwan. I know the university I did my undergraduate at in the US has partnerships, and that may be the same for your university as well. Next here, I've got two more questions, so I've got a little bit more time for everybody to write some questions in the chat here. So last reminder, next is how to be qualified for the gold card. Like I mentioned, there's over 70 different ways to qualify for the gold card. Some of the most common ways to qualify are, let me go over here to the website so I can give you guys a bit of a visual. And then boom, boom, boom. You can check this out yourself on our Gold Card website. You can go to Gold Card, about the qualifications. Actually, before about the qualifications, I would recommend checking out the application guide. You can actually go here and click Start, and you can answer the quiz, and that can actually narrow it down some more. But if you want to check out all the qualifications in detail, you can go here. And some of the most common ways, like I mentioned before, to qualify is by earning a certain salary amount within certain fields, like economy, digital, science, and tech, for example. Or if you are, let's find digital again here. If you have at least 8 years of experience in your industry, you can also get a gold card. So if you have 8 years of being a software developer or 8 years of being a marketing specialist, something like that under economy, you can maybe work under economy regulation 5. So that may work for you. Once again, if you have a PhD, you can automatically qualify for the uh, Education Regulation 1, assuming that your PhD is from one of the top 500 universities. And there's also a lot of different ways. Please do check out the website. I know we're running short on time today, so I don't want to go on too long. I could talk about this for days, but definitely do check out the website. And then my final question here, are there short-term opportunities, year or 2 year long programs? I assume this is meaning academic programs. Yes, there are there, and this is a very broad question, so I'm not quite sure what you're referring to, but there are associate's degrees in Taiwan you can get for 2 years. There are Mandarin training degrees if you're just looking for the learning Chinese experience. Or when I go back to this slide in my presentation, you can see here we also have industry partnership programs, and also joint dual degree programs as well. So you'll have to do your own research on universities in Taiwan and different programs, but there are lots of programs out there. I'll say that. Okay, that's all the questions we've collected from the Google form. I don't know if we want to stay for a couple more minutes, see if we've got any last minute questions here. If not, we can sign off. And yeah, I think I'll give the floor back to Hal after tiring everyone out with my long presentation.
Not at all. It was super comprehensive and glad everyone could get their questions answered. So huge thank you to you, Bradley, for your time and doing this so early in the day and covering so much in a relatively short period of time. And thanks to the Talent Taiwan team as well for putting this on. It is super, super helpful and greatly appreciated. So many thanks to everyone. And I guess we can close things up there. Thanks to all who are here today. And we'll follow up with a recording, and feel free to reach out if you have any other questions. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you all for coming.